What I want to talk to you about in this segment is what I call the 100% rule.
What I want to talk about in this segment is what I call the 100% rule. Before Joni Lamb passed away on May 7th, 2026, the documented story of how Doug Weiss entered her life, her home, her ministry, and eventually her financial estate had already become one of the most thoroughly investigated stories in modern Christian broadcasting. The Roy Report, the Trinity Foundation, and licensed public records had already built a detailed paper trail that raised serious, documented questions about who Doug Weiss is, what his professional history actually looks like, and what the arrival of this one man ultimately cost Daystar Television Network in money, in relationships, in partners, and in the family that built it. Today, we are going to walk through every piece of that verified public record carefully, calmly, and completely. No dream interpretations, no anonymous sources, and no speculation dressed up as prophecy. Just the documented facts, the named sources, and the legitimate questions those facts raise. Quick disclaimer, everything in this video is sourced to named, credible investigative journalism. The primary sources are the Roy Report by veteran investigative reporter Julie Roy and the Trinity Foundation, a nonprofit watchdog that has monitored religious financial issues for more than 30 years. Colorado state regulatory records are also public and accessible. To understand how Doug Weiss became such a central and contested figure at one of America's largest Christian television networks, we have to start at the beginning, in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Doug Weiss is the founder of Heart to Heart Counseling Center, which he described as a practice specializing in sexual addiction therapy and intimacy anorexia. He has authored more than 40 books and founded the American Association for Sex Addiction Therapy. He had genuine professional credentials as a licensed psychologist and a solid presence in Christian counseling circles. However, before he ever appeared on Daystar, he had a documented regulatory history. According to Colorado Department of Regulatory Agencies records, Weiss has been a licensed professional counselor since 2000 and a licensed psychologist since 2008. In 2002, the Colorado State Board of Licensed Professional Counselor Examiners issued him a formal letter of admonition for misrepresenting his credentials by calling himself a licensed marriage and family therapist, a title he was not legally allowed to use. Then in 2010, the boards issued a second formal letter of admonition after investigating a 3-day intensive he conducted with a married couple. The board stated that instead of trying to save the marriage, Weiss elevated the conflict and rushed the couple toward divorce and division of assets. Weiss accepted this order. The Roy Report later published accounts from 7 former female clients who attended his intensives. They described feeling blamed, shamed, and pressured to resume intimacy quickly. Several raised serious concerns about the polygraph tests used in the program.
The Trinity Foundation also highlighted issues with Weiss's nonprofit, Healing Time Ministries. In 2022, it received a $400,000 grant from the Carl H. and Edith B. Lintner Foundation, yet reported total revenue of $50,000 or less on its IRS postcard filing. A similar $150,000 grant came in 2023. These discrepancies were flagged as significant enough to warrant possible IRS review. None of this was widely known until after Marcus Lamb's death on November 30th, 2021. Joni Lamb began dating Doug Weiss around August 2022. Public flight tracking by the Trinity Foundation showed Daystar's ministry jet made 24 round trips from Fort Worth to Colorado Springs between October 2022 and May 2024, costing an estimated $476,000, plus additional flights to Destin, Florida. Doug Weiss filed for divorce from his wife Lisa in January 2022, just 58 days after Marcus Lamb died. The divorce was finalized in May 2022, but he did not announce it publicly until February 2023. During that time, he continued counseling married couples as if he had a successful Christian marriage.
In June 2023, Doug and Joni married. Just 3 months later, in September 2023, they jointly purchased a $2.9 million Gulfront condominium in Miramar Beach, Florida. This purchase stands in tension with what Joni reportedly told her son about a prenuptial agreement. The Roy report obtained Daystar expense reports showing roughly $100,000 in charges at a luxury resort in Los Cabos, Mexico for their honeymoon, billed to Joni's ministry credit card. Joni later denied the ministry paid for the honeymoon, but documentation of reimbursement was never publicly provided. According to internal documents, Joni's compensation jumped dramatically after Marcus's death, from $436,750 in 2021 to $1.48 million in 2022. Doug Weiss reportedly began receiving a six-figure salary from Daystar immediately after the marriage. Jonathan Lamb stated that both salaries were hidden from him in the payroll system on Joni's instructions. After Joni Lamb's death on May 7, 2026, Doug Weiss's future role at Daystar remains unclear. The network has not made any public statement confirming whether he retains any formal position or compensation. The documented record raises many serious questions. A divorce filed shortly after the death of the network founder. A dramatic change in how his previous marriage was described. 2 state board admonitions. Client complaints. Nonprofit financial discrepancies. Heavy use of the ministry jet for personal travel. A luxury honeymoon charged to the ministry. And large hidden salaries. Was this a genuine love story between 2 grieving people? Or something more calculated? We cannot read hearts, but the public paper trail contains concrete, verifiable concerns that deserve honest answers. The Christian community that supported Daystar for decades deserves transparency in finances, accountability for documented conduct, and genuine reconciliation with the Lamb family. These are not optional. They are the minimum requirements for rebuilding trust. If this video helped bring clarity, please share it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one. Weiss hosted his own show, Healing Time, and co-hosted Ministry Now with Joni, giving his counseling ministry national exposure.